sportslive.com. Hope you are well. It's the 25th of August, 2026. Happy you are with us. No Richard Dixon today. I spoke with him yesterday. I think we will get him back tomorrow. Just thinking about him not feeling well. And then also another programming note. We've got Andrew, who is now down for the count, not feeling well. And we'll have something a little bit different for you today from 10 until 2. More on that in a bit.
Well, I can tell you right now, the first couple of hours, Matt and I will take
All
it.
right. It's going to be Steve and Matt. Awesome. And then maybe a little best of Andrew. We'll see all about that. Good news there. Let's give you the weather forecast for today. It looks pretty nice. This morning should be beautiful. A little bit on the hot side. Obviously, we're still in August in Alabama, and that's the way things go. 93 for the daytime high. Wednesday, a bit of a cloudy day, 20% chance of an afternoon shower, high near 90. And then Thursday, we get into those pretty good rain chances, 60% chance of rain, 86. Now, yesterday we heard we could get a couple of inches of rain. Not a bad thing. We've been pretty dry for the last couple of weeks with just a few spotty showers, so some of you get it. And then on Friday, a 40% chance of rain, 89 the daytime high. Welcome in. We've got Will the Chubb Father, who is co-hosting this morning here bright and early after being here last night from 6 to 7. You hear him Monday through Friday with AJ doing Breaking Bread. So thank you very much for leaving here, going home and getting some sleep, and then turning right around and coming back.
Thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much for that, Will. We really appreciate you being here. And, so much to get to today. We've got a lot that we found out yesterday. We were waiting on the press conference over this economic D-Day. So we've got some more details about that. We'll be bringing you that as well. A couple other big highlights. Another story yesterday that came out because we've been following it, Richard and I, over the last couple of weeks, this possible new trial for Carmelo Anthony. If you remember this story, a Texas judge yesterday formally denied that request. He's the 19-year-old who was convicted in June of stabbing and killing a 17-year-old named Austin Metcalf during an altercation at a Frisco track meet. Metcalf asked Anthony to leave his team's tent. Anthony was part of another team and refused to leave. They got into a little verbal, hey, you need to leave, you need to leave, you need to leave, and he refused to leave. And then Anthony pulled out a knife and stabbed Metcalf, and Metcalf ended up dying, which is, the whole story is just,
So strange.
kind of strange because you've got kids and your son played sports and you've got daughters that I think play sports as well. And you go to these different events. My son played lacrosse in high school as a young kid and then in high school and tournaments and things like that. And teams set up these tents in the middle of the summer. It's hot as all get out, so you need a little shade. Or if it's one of those events where, hey, we might get a little rain, let's get a tent up so at least we have a place to escape to. And your team hangs out under the tent. Now, occasionally, your son or daughter might know somebody from another team and they come over and, hey, how are you? It's all good. But Anthony apparently just made himself comfortable underneath this team's tent, and he wasn't a part of the team, and he really didn't know anybody. And they nicely asked him once or twice to leave the tent area, and he didn't do it. And then, it looks like Metcalf went over and said to him, you need to leave. Get out from underneath our tent.
It's insane that two young people's lives were lost that day.
Yeah, one.
Well,
Yeah.
no, I mean, no.
Metcalf is the one that was killed.
Sure, he was killed. He did look, but the other young man's life is lost as well.
Yeah, well, that's on him. He made that decision.
It is, but it doesn't change the fact that the two young lives were gone and destroyed, and it's awful. Like I don't really understand. I don't understand young people these days in general. Like it's just so much.
It seems like there's a disconnect on how you handle stress or a situation like that it goes straight to violence.
Absolutely. Well,
and I'm hold on a second here. Why do we jump to that?
We have so many parents who raise their children with the belief that they have a right to never be offended. You know what I'm saying? And like too many parents won't allow kids to stub their toe and scrape their knees. They're there to pick them up, to teach. We're not teaching proper lessons anymore, and I don't know if you saw it in lacrosse, but like parents in sports have gotten so much more aggressive than they ever were. And I mean, some of that, some of that maybe is just what it costs now to participate in youth sports. All of the other outside influences, but like you see all the fights between parents and parents getting run from game. It's just,
Yeah, I remember one season, and I think Aiden was maybe about 14 at the time, where the coach had to put out a couple of memos. It wasn't so much our team. I mean, yes, there is responsibility with parents that are there. It was sometimes how we responded to the other team's parents, because sometimes they were the ones that were a little bit more aggressive.
sure.
And it was just like, don't respond to the aggressiveness. Parents, we're there just to observe. We're not there to yell at the ump.
Right.
There were emails that went out saying, no yelling at the line judge, at the umpires. We're lucky to have lacrosse umpires. They're not as easy to find as like baseball,
Sure.
a flag football or regular football, those type of umps. It's like, be nice to these guys, because they don't have to do this. Yes, they're earning a little bit of money, and they're trying to get maybe seasoned to go to the high school level, or, to whatever level it is. But I mean, parents were just like screaming and yelling at them, and, get out. And it's like, what are we doing? Let these kids play. They're not, it's not a do or die. They're trying to learn the sport. And, a couple of times, it got ugly. It got so ugly that they decided to make two parents on the team, kind of like I don't know that you want to call us police, but they gave an actual badge.
Stand monitors.
It's kind of like that, because many of the games you would set up your chairs along the sidelines.
Sure.
You were down closer to the field because you were able to do that. But it got so bad that one season they said, we need 2 volunteer parents. And I was one of the parents that said, and I was like, I really don't want to do this. This is like, but they said, if things ever get out of, we need somebody that's on the team to walk over to the parent to say, hey, you need to knock it off,
Right.
kind of like, I'm going to give you a yellow flag in soccer.
Sure.
And I'm like, this is crazy. We're having to do this.
Did you ever have to check anybody?
No, I never did it.
Did you have a plan? Like, what was going to be your
Well,
approach?
I just was going to, point to my badge. Do you see my badge? I was like, am I going to be carrying in all of this? I don't want to do this. But I was like, okay, all right, I'll help out because you need help. But I never did the whole season. It was just fine.
I would never want to be scolded by Valerie Viner.
No, I didn't want to scold you. I didn't want to scold anybody. But that's how bad it got, that we were kind of like hall monitors. I was like, is this really where we're, and this wasn't for the kids.
Right.
This was for a parent.
Sure.
To tell another parent, hey, you need to chill.
Well, that's, and that's kind of my point, is that, like, we expect a certain behavior and code of conduct from student athletes or from athletes who are participating in rec league or whatever it is. And you wonder why kids act this way.
Yeah, exactly.
You had to be, there's your answer.
Yeah.
Like, if you got to control parents.
That's bad, because then the
parents aren't,
the parents aren't doing it with the kids.
Yeah.
And that would happen sometimes. There was one school, and I'm not going to say who it is because there's going to be some parents. There was one school in the area, I will say. They would be the last ones that you would ever think would have foul mouths and saying to the other team's players, words that should never have been spoken at 14 and 15 years old. And I'm going to let you guess what that one school was. It's the one you would think, oh, well, they would never. No, they would never. They're little angels. That's all I'm saying. And my son said of all of the teams they played, that team was the worst foul-mouthed team that they had ever played. And I said, don't you fire back at any of these guys. I said, I know you want to, and it's aggravating, and it's frustrating. I said, but don't join the game. Don't do it. It's not worth it. But I was really shocked by that. And I was like, so those are the parents that are allowing those kids to act that way on the field. There's some non-parenting going on.
You know they act that way at home.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like it's not a
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and back to the Carmelo Anthony story, and some of the story has been lost in that there was a little bit of some background that came out about both of these guys, some history that they didn't want to allow to go into this court case, and it was both of them.
Right.
It wasn't just Anthony.
Right.
Now, Anthony had some stuff going on in the background that you thought, well, the judge, if that had come to light, that might play into how, this whole ruling would have gone. But at the same time, they said Metcalf had some stuff in his background, too, that wasn't all
Sunshine's rainbows.
Yeah, absolutely. It was just like, whoa, he was in a lot of trouble through his high school and, middle school years that didn't come to light either.
Right.
But on the day of this particular event, there were eyewitnesses to all of it and how it went down.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't have gone down that way.
No.
And Metcalf would still be alive.
Sure.
But neither one of these guys were. A lot of the Metcalf folks were like, "Oh, he was an angel and just a big teddy bear,"
Right.
and blah blah blah. Not apparently to some of the things that have come out now about him, and that's why this judge was like, "No new trial. I know enough. I've seen enough. There's not going to be a new trial
It's crazy that there was not an adult around
to stop that."
to actual adult to stop that. And I would not be surprised in any way, shape, form, or fashion if some of the cameras were being held by adults, but adults didn't adult.
Yeah, adults should have probably intervened.
Yeah.
Or somebody should have said, maybe, I guess, you can look back on this all day long, that maybe one of the students should have said, look, let's, obviously this guy's not leaving. Let's go find a coach or somebody and let them handle it. But, we're talking high school guys,
I know,
and
I'm
you know as a father and have
I'm
seen it.
so glad that I did not grow up with cameras on cell phones.
Right. All right, 7:17. We're back in a minute with the three things here on Talk 99.5.
Yeah, and especially some of those track and field and
723 Dixon and Vining, Talk 99.5, talk995.com. Good morning to you. My good friend Daniel at Noble Contractors, just a wonderful man with a wonderful business. I love to brag on Daniel because of the job that he does. A good friend of mine's mother needed a little help with some gutters, and she called me and she reached out. She's like, I know you talk about a gutter guy. I need his name and number and what's the company. And I know your lives are busy, and sometimes you're like, you hear it and you're like, I know they were talking about somebody that does gutters. Go ahead today and put this number in your phone so you will have it. 422-3034. She called Daniel, had some new gutters put on her house. She's out on Lake Logan Martin, so Daniel will come to you. He's here in Central Alabama and take good care of you and put up these beautiful new gutters. And I went out and saw the house and saw the gutters, and I was like, wow, phenomenal job. Phenomenal prices. Here's the thing. He's going to give you a free estimate, and what he'd love for you to do, go ahead and compare. Go ahead and get some estimates from some of these big national companies that are charging these crazy prices, and then get a free estimate from Daniel and see what the gutters really should cost, because he's very fair with his prices. A wonderful team he has put together. He does repairs on gutters. He has new gutters with gutter covers, so if you need those to keep out the leaves and debris, and by the way, leaves are starting to fall. This would be a great time to reach out to Daniel and get those covers on your gutters. Call him today. He's got financing available as low as 0% for 21 months and a 10% discount on your new gutters if you will tell him that I sent you and that you are a Talk 99.5 listener. Find out more about Noble Contractors and Daniel at noblecontractorsala.com. Again, his phone number, if you'd like to reach out to him this morning and get that free estimate, he has no problem coming out to you and giving you that free estimate, 205-422-3034. Noble Contractors, 422-3034. Give him a call today. All right, so Buc-ee's is in the news. I don't know about you, but I'm a big fan of Buc-ee's. I think it's fun. I think it's great. I love that we have one right here close to us in Central Alabama in Leeds. There are others. But the Buc-ee's CEO is looking at shifting away from blue states and said that they are looking at a business model where they're going to go really strong in red states. Arch Applin III is the company's president and co-founder, and he made the comments at the grand opening of their recent Arkansas location. This was on the 17th. He said, when you find a conservative, business-friendly state with a phenomenal workforce, it makes a big difference. Applin criticized states that he said do not appreciate what Buc-ee's brings to their communities. Buc-ee's founded in 1982. I didn't know that. I didn't know they'd been in business that long. Currently has 58 locations, including 37 in Texas, and I think now there are 4 in Alabama, right? Leeds, Athens, Auburn, and
Foley.
Loxley, yeah, Robertsdale.
Foley, Loxley, whatever.
Yeah. So we've got 4. We're pretty fortunate. We could probably use a couple more Buc-ee's, but yeah, I mean, if you're going to a blue state and you're just not getting the love and the support and they don't really understand what Buc-ee's is about, I'm probably not going to build a whole lot more stores there. I'm going to go where business is appreciated and people like what you're doing and they're all about it and want another bag of beef jerky or something over there in that gift shop or another Buc-ee's T-shirt.
That's reasonable.
I mean, yeah, I think so too, and I think it's smart. He's been in some of these blue states and he's like, they're not getting it. They're not feeling it. Right. They don't appreciate what this whole experience is inside Buc-ee's.
What part of that blue state is not feeling it? Is it I mean, is he not getting the are the sales not what they are in other states? Are the other states not willing to give him the
they may not be going there.
The abatements,
and
whatnot.
They may not be going to Buc-ee's and feeling as passionate about it as maybe we do and Texans do, because again, they don't really get the business model. They don't understand what they've got, and maybe it's because of the conservative values. They're like, I'm not going in there. Okay, well, now the CEO is figuring out, who really his audience is, who's his base,
right?
And his base is obviously conservative people.
I mean, I don't know. I am 1,000% in favor of a business owner doing and making a decision that they feel is best for their business, regardless of the reason. Like I'm here.
You're there to make a living. You're there
Yeah.
to make a profit.
Sure.
You're there, right? And
if you feel like that model doesn't work someplace else and works better someplace, then
so be it.
do it.
So be it.
I'm here for it.
Yep. Things good at Chubb Fathers? Everything good?
I mean,
You seem like you have a happy staff. When we were out there for our wing run, we were like, man, everybody's really happy. They didn't know. Most of them didn't know who we were.
It's amazing when you take care of your team, how well your team takes care of you.
Yeah. And they do seem, everyone in there was a go-getter. That was obvious. Extremely helpful. Several times, folks like, hey, do you need anything? Can I refill that drink? And I was like, wow. Yeah. Will, so you've really done it right out there.
Well, listen, first of all, Stephanie is
your queen.
Stephanie the queen. My queen is that's kind of her job and her department. And when she has lots of jobs. She does lots of things. But when back in the day when we were younger, man, she could run a bar and run an 8 or a 10 table section, waiting tables, and just make stupid money doing it. So like we're servants. Like at the end of the day, that's what we are. That's who we are, and that's what we do. And our team is fantastic, and you take care of them, and they take care of the good. We also have a team that buys into the philosophy of who we are and why we are.
And that's really important.
So
can you say Chick-fil-A?
Hey.
And you're using some of that same philosophy, and it's working.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. You don't have to reinvent the wheel, right?
Stay away from the Chick-fil-A potato chips. Bit of a ripoff.
Oh, is it? Not many in there? I still got to get in there and try the new waffle sandwich.
We're talking about that on the show tonight, actually.
Excellent.
Flavorful or flavor food?
736 Talk 99.5, talk995.com. Don't forget on YouTube at Real Talk 995 TV and download our app. Everything is there for you. Anywhere you go, if you're going on vacation somewhere, you're going to Europe, you can still listen to us on your app. So download it. It is free. It's the Talk 99.5 app. Podcasts are there. Listen live. Watch us on YouTube if you want to do that. And you can text and call us from that app as well at 545-9950. Speaking of texting, thank you all so much for your text this morning. A lot of questions about what school was the one that was doing all the cussing. Well, we'll just move on from that. There's really no need to go into all of that. No question about it. Let's talk a little bit about flock cameras. There's an awful lot in the news right now, not only locally, statewide, and nationally about it. We're getting some word that there are some of our lawmakers who right now maybe are thinking that we need to put some restrictions on some of the flock cameras. Now, there are apparently 2,800 flock cameras across the state, and some are not like, they feel like this is like exploding. The other day I started looking and counting the number of flock cameras just that I could see, and there's probably more than that on my path from the house to work. And I was like, wow, there's a lot. And I understand it is a tool and a good one for law enforcement to use. There's a robbery, a bank robbery, somebody's committed some kind of crime, you can find that license tag. But it is awful. It seems to be very intrusive, and they're on both sides of the spectrum. People are like, I like this, but I don't like it at all. And we've seen there's been some abuses of the cameras. A couple of police officers who have been caught recently going, and looking at the flock cameras. There was one officer that looked 350 times at one particular tag, following it around. Not cool, not legal. You'll lose your job over that. So I think there are some parameters, but, Will, where are you on this? Like, are you with maybe putting more bans, more restrictions on what we do? But, somebody's got to police that and monitor that.
I don't trust the government. Blank statement. Across the board.
Well, I think I think our eyes were all opened through the pandemic, and even before then, that some stuff is not.
I am here for freedom. I do not desire to be a part or a participant in a surveillance state. I do believe that from a law enforcement tool perspective, I can see where it probably is a wonderful tool.
When used correctly.
And that's the thing, is that they're all monitored and run by human beings who are all predisposed to their own ideas and thoughts and desires of how things should be. And I don't think that there's a way to apply it so that it does not get abused.
Yeah, because somebody has to check it. Somebody is overseeing it within these different police departments, and maybe what's going on is that they need to limit that in those departments.
Right.
That there is more of a security protocol in order to access those cameras.
Right.
That it's not all the officers that are within a precinct or a department. That there's one or two, and those one or two are overseen how many times or what they're looking at. Because it really should only be used in helping to maybe catch a suspect, solve a crime, whatever it may be, not to monitor in any way. And obviously, looking at somebody's license plate 350 times, that's a serious issue that officer had.
Well, and I think it's part of during the break, we were just talking about the Mr. Glenn, the gentleman that's missing, has been missing for a week and a half now. And Alabaster, the citizenry is like, hold on a second. With all the flock cameras that we have all over the place,
right?
Why don't we see him? And what we've been told is, and all I can do is go by what we've been told, is that our flock cameras only have the ability to relay the license plate information. Like they will see more than that.
Right. Hold on a second. We're talking a camera. You're telling me that camera zooms into the tag and doesn't pick up anything else.
No, that's what they're telling me. That's not what I'm telling you. That's what I'm being told. But the same thing, like other jurisdictions are saying, oh, we're only reading tags. And if we want information past that, then we have to go here to access it. But the problem is you can still go there
and get what you need.
Yeah.
Right.
So once again, we go back to the fact that I just don't, nobody's given me any reason to trust like that people are going to do the right thing.
And I understand. I'm obviously law enforcement and the fam over the top pro police and law enforcement having whatever tools necessary to try to keep us all safe, to solve crimes. I mean, I think I keep going back to the Nancy Guthrie case, and it's just mind-boggling with all the cameras that case hasn't been solved. You know, was it just that they messed it up from the beginning? But that should be solved. Once again, with all the cameras that we've got, it just seems unbelievable to me that person got away with taking Nancy Guthrie out of that house and going wherever with her, and that this hasn't been resolved. So let's talk with Jan real quick. She's calling in this morning with wanting to weigh in. Hey, Jan, welcome into Talk 99.5. What's on your mind?
Hey, good morning.
Morning.
On the flock cameras, I used to work for Motorola and the division that provided license plate recognition software. And actually, that company has cars driving all over the United States 24/7 with a bunch of cameras on it. And what it's doing is it's tracking license plates. And what my job was, I was selling to tractor-trailer places because it seems a lot of the tractor-trailer trailers go missing. And a large part of that, they end up going over the border, used to transport illegal things or humans.
Mm-hmm.
But in addition, it was used to help find missing children, car rental agencies, a lot of military people and others that move will rent a car that they like and then ship it overseas to their next duty station. But these cameras catch the license plates, and I doubted it when I first went to work. And so I went into the system, and sure enough, I live in a small townhouse community, and a camera had caught my car parked in my driveway. But it's, they're monitored, and the licensing requires the monitoring. And, of course, there's bad apples everywhere. You've got bad dentists that take advantage of patients. You've got police officers that probably look at these cameras looking for their ex-wives. I don't know. But they've found a lot of missing children, taken wives, and a huge resource for an industry that loses a lot of vehicles a year. So that's my 2 cents worth. I don't work for them anymore, so I'm not getting an endorsement for this. But they do serve a good purpose. But you got to remember, if humans are monitoring it, there's always the opportunity for error.
Yep. Jan, thank you for the call and that information. We sure do appreciate it. Have a wonderful day down there in Tuscaloosa. We appreciate it. And, I love the fact that there are good things that can come out of it. And, again, you've got somebody down in Alabaster that that's missing, and, maybe those flock cameras could help with that. That would be a great example of, good use of the flock cameras. And she's right. We've got the human element in this, but maybe, there's a way to make it a little more difficult and, again, narrow down the number of people that have access to those flock cameras when necessary. That they have access to them, but maybe it's a smaller amount of people that are actually looking at those.
And I absolutely see where they can be and have been a tool for good. Once again, it's like you said, how do you regulate the use and the people who have access to that information? But just generally speaking, for all the good that it does, I don't want to be part of a surveillance state.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. I don't want to be watched everywhere I go.
So you're anti-flock camera.
I don't know what I am. I don't know what I am. And that's just this an honest response is I can give you is that, like, you know, yes, I
you
see
understand the
benefits.
good, but you hate your tag is
And
being read.
it's a slippery. I just think that it's all an incredible slippery slope, and we have volunteered away so much of our freedom.
Yeah, you're right.
None of it has been taken.
A lot of it started with this thing.
Yeah, none of our freedoms have ever been taken, but we've given them away.
Yep. 746, your calls, your texts, your thoughts on what we're talking about. 545-9950, 545-9950. 7:52. You're listening to Dixon and Vining on Talk 99.5. Several people weighing in. How's Richard? Still under the weather today. Well, we did speak with him yesterday, and I think we may have him back tomorrow. It's looking that way. But now we got Andrew, who is down for the count. We'll have Steve and Matt coming in from 10 until noon, and then maybe a little best of Andrew from noon until 2 today. Yeah, we got to get our staff healthy again. I don't know what's up. But Will the Chubb Father's in co-hosting with me this morning. We've got Steve West, who is well, thank goodness, behind the glass. Got to keep my guys.
For now, stop overworking us.
Right. What is the world is going on? But glad you guys are with us, and thank you so much for all the text messages talking a little bit about Flock cameras. Christopher says Flock is just one manufacturer. Yes, we get that. When we're talking about cameras, I guess, when we say that, everybody kind of knows what we're talking about. Kind of like Kleenex. It's a tissue. Give him some little mic there. It's a tissue. We understand how it works, but Kleenex is a brand. But when you say Kleenex, everybody knows what you're talking about.
Is it still the go-to brand to wipe your nose?
I don't know. There's so many good generic brands now. I
can't tell you the last time I picked up a box of Kleenex.
See what these are. I think these are Richards. Oh, these are Members Mark, ultra soft, but it looks like a Kleenex, right?
Right.
When you say, can I toss me a Kleenex?
Looks like Kleenex, walks like a Kleenex.
Must
Wipes
be a
like
Kleenex.
a Kleenex. Must be a Kleenex.
All right, we're going to change gears here for a minute. I know we do a lot of food talk with Richard. He's not here, but we've got some food talk for you because I have an expert in the house that probably knows this type of food better than Richard could ever know it. If Richard was here, he'd probably argue with us about it, but he's not, so ha. So Will wants to talk a little bit about a recipe for mac and cheese. Now, I want to tell you, I'm going to be honest with you, I've only made out-of-the-box mac and cheese.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Like some good old-fashioned Blue
because
Box craft is
I don't
delicious.
have a good recipe. I don't have a good recipe for it. So I'm so glad that you're bringing this to our attention.
So I get sent, obviously with the Breaking Bread radio program, I get sent recipes from people all the time. I'm not a big recipe guy necessarily. I have this thing in my brain where I can taste it as I'm making it. And like if I'm just walking around the grocery store and I get an idea that I want to do something, like I taste it in my brain and I figure out if it's going to work.
Right.
So like this recipe for this mac and cheese that I got sent it made sense in my brain, but it was just weird. And so it's served 6 to 8. 2 pounds of just a little 2-pound package of macaroni noodles, whichever brand.
And I was going to say nothing specific.
No, and a couple cups of cheddar cheese. So like this is all normal to this point.
Okay.
And then sour cream and cottage cheese.
Whoa.
Which is what...
Now, I like cottage cheese, but there's some people going, I don't know cottage cheese in my mac and cheese.
So, traditionally, if you're making macaroni and cheese from scratch,
right,
you do it a couple different ways. You either, make the noodles, throw the shredded cheese in, add some milk, and then add some eggs, and then put it in the oven.
Okay.
And season it. There's also a large group of people who make a bechamel, and that's the way that they make their macaroni and cheese because they like the macaroni and cheese.
What word did you just say?
A bechamel, a basic cheese sauce that's derived from a roux.
I don't know this. You can tell I don't spend a lot of time in the kitchen.
So the
bechamel,
and that's
bechamel
what kind
of
thickens it and gives it that creamy, cheesy texture,
deliciousness.
But it kind of takes a little bit of knowing and doing to apply that method and to have it be smooth and have it be creamy and not have it either break on you while you're making it or break on you while you're cooking it.
Okay.
So this whole cottage cheese and sour cream thing makes a lot of sense in my head. And I had about 50 folks coming over for the party. So I just wanted to make some
So wait a minute.
Bulk mac and cheese.
You hadn't tried this yet, and you had a bunch of people coming over, and that was your try?
Yeah.
Wow. Man, you're bold.
Yeah. So
I would probably make it first. And
the only thing that I did was I added a little bit of heavy cream to the top of it when I mixed it all in. But that's all it was. The noodles, the cheese.
Go through the process.
Yeah.
So
Boil
what?
the noodles.
Boil the noodles.
Put them in a pan.
Put them in a pan.
Right.
Do I need some spray in the pan?
I mean, you can. Like if
So
you're
it
gonna
doesn't
if you're gonna overcook it, if you're not gonna cook it at the right temperature, then you
Okay.
probably need all that. But if you're
All
gonna
right.
like do the things
You're
the
gonna
way
do it
that
right.
you should, then
Because with the way I want it to come out, I don't want it like, like I could turn the pan upside down and it's one blob.
right.
I want it to be creamy and, kind of like you would do in the pan with the box,
Right.
with the butter and
You want a bunch of individual macaroni and cheese noodles.
Yeah, I want it cheesy and
Then
pulled
you should
apart.
probably just keep.
I don't
you
want
should-
the block
You should just keep making Kraft macaroni and cheese.
because I'm not going to get that with
That's
this.
the best.
huh?
That's well. It's going to come out blockish in your terminology.
Yeah.
Because it's
In other words, I
been
could use
bind, but
I could use a knife to cut out a square and pull
but,
it out.
But once you've done that and
Yeah.
you go to putting your fork in it, the noodles are going to come apart. It's
Okay.
not going to just stay congealed.
Okay.
But generally, that happens when people put too many eggs.
Yeah,
in it.
because
And they use the eggs as the binder, and that's what bakes it together. So you're using the cottage cheese takes the place of
the eggs?
eggs and basically becomes the binder. The sour cream is there to just keep it smooth and creamy.
Okay.
But yeah, so you can spray the bottom of your pan,
Okay.
put your noodles in.
Right.
Well, actually, spray the bottom of the pan, make the noodles, mix the cheese, the cottage cheese, and the sour cream together.
How much sour cream and cottage cheese?
It's like an 8 ounce for a 2 pound package of noodles. It's
Okay.
like a 8 ounce package of
Sour cream?
sour cream, and an 8 ounce package of cottage
Cottage
cheese.
cheese. Okay.
Yeah. And you just mix all that together with proper salt and pepper, and
And cheddar cheese?
and cheddar cheese.
2 cups?
Yeah. And then you can add, and then you get some breadcrumbs and some butter, and mix the breadcrumbs and butter together, and put it over the top, and then you just put it in the oven and bake it for like 45 minutes at 350.
That's
and
it.
it comes out fantastic.
Well, what happens to the cottage cheese? I guess that breaks it down.
No, it just
becomes a.
it just holds the noodle and the cheese.
So you don't actually
together.
see chunks
no,
of
there's
cottage
there's
cheese
no
in there.
it's not gritty at all.
I'm telling you, people
No,
are
it's-
freaking out
no,
right
it's
now,
not-
going, "I don't want that in my."
It's not grit. It is no more. There's no more grit and texture to it than if you make a traditional baked mac and cheese with eggs.
Oh, okay. Well, I might need to try that.
It's so good.
Is it?
And people, stop seasoning your macaroni and cheese with just black pepper. You need white pepper.
Do I know about white
that's
pepper?
what
I don't
makes-
think I know white pepper. I need to get in the kitchen with you, Will. I need a little help.
I need to get in your spice
White
cabinet
pepper.
to help you out.
They'd
Yeah.
let
got a
Will
lot of
introduce you to some
spices in
people
there.
and some spices.
I got a lot of spices, but not white pepper.
You don't have any white
I
pepper?
don't think so. Unless I made that.
Why got to be so racist?
I might have done that with chili or something. Can't remember what I did that with. White chili? I mean, white pepper? I don't know. Yeah, I got to get in the kitchen with
Yeah,
Will.
yeah, come on.
I'm headed to Chubb Fathers. Bye, y'all.